Listen, I don't care what your yesterday looked like. It has nothing to do with what your tomorrow can be. Too many people walk around carrying the weight of their past like it's a permanent prison sentence. They let mistakes, failures, bad decisions, or the environment they were born in to convince them that where they came from is where they gotta stay. That's a lie. Your past doesn't have the power to determine your destiny unless you keep giving it the permission to do so. Think about it. Every single one of us has a story. Some of us came up broke. Some of us made bad choices. Some of us wasted years running in circles. But guess what? You're still here. If you're breathing, you still got a shot. The world will try to remind you of what you've done wrong. People will try to put labels on you. But you don't have to answer to those labels. You don't have to keep living the same chapter over and over. You get to turn the page. I'll tell you something most folks don't realize. Your past is supposed to teach you, not trap you. The mess you went through, the heartbreaks, the losses, the jobs you didn't get, the times you felt like you weren't enough, that's not wasted. That's training. That's building the strength you need for the future you're headed toward. See, you can't appreciate freedom if you've never been stuck. You can't value peace if you've never been in chaos. And you can't know success until you've tasted failure. The stuff you thought was breaking you was really shaping you. Now, don't get me wrong. Change isn't easy. People will say, but you don't know what I've been through. You don't know what I've done. And you're right, I don't. But I do know this. As long as you're living, you got the ability to rewrite the ending. You are not stuck in that chapter of your life. You are not locked to the mistakes you made when you didn't know any better. Don't you let guilt, shame, or regret stop you from chasing what's still possible. Don't you dare tell yourself it's too late. That's the enemy talking. That's the enemy talking. That's fear trying to rob you of the future God already lined up for you. Think of all the great success stories. Most of them didn't start on top. They started broken, overlooked, or underestimated. They had every reason to quit, but they didn't. And because they didn't, they became proof that the past is just a chapter, not the whole book. The same applies to you. What happened to you? What you went through, what you lost, it's real. But it doesn't have the final say. You get to decide where the story goes from here. Here's the thing. The enemy of your future is not your past. It's your mindset about your past. If you keep rehearsing your mistakes, if you keep replaying the times you fell short, you'll never step into what's ahead. But if you start telling yourself, that was then, this is now. That was part of my process, but it's not my destination. Then you can finally move forward. You've got to stop dragging the old version of you into the new season of your life. Let it go. You've learned the lesson, now walk free. And let me tell you something that changed my life. God doesn't consult your past to decide your future. He doesn't care what you did last year, last month, or last night. He cares about where your heart is right now and what you're willing to do today. That's why you see people rise from nothing. That's why people who were written off end up being the very ones who make it. They refuse to let yesterday define tomorrow. So hear me clearly, your past is not a prison, it's a classroom. The pain was part of your preparation. The loss was part of your lesson, and the failures were seeds for future success. Don't stay stuck in a place you've outgrown. Don't let a bad chapter keep you from finishing the book. You've got dreams inside you, purpose inside you, and a future waiting for you that is bigger than any mistake you've ever made. Stop living like you're stuck. You're not stuck. You're being set up. You're not finished, you're just getting started. Your past may explain where you came from, but it does not determine where you're going. So lift your head up, shake off yesterday, and start moving forward. Because your best days are not behind you. They're still out in front, waiting for you to claim them. Do you want me to keep this serious and powerful all the way through? Or should I sprinkle in some Steve Harvey style humor and storytelling to make it sound even more like his stage presence? Faith is powerful, but let me make something clear. Faith without action is just a wish. You can sit around all day long hoping, dreaming, praying, and talking about what you want. But until you get up and move your feet, nothing is going to change. See, too many people think faith is about waiting. They pray, and then they sit still, expecting blessings to fall right into their lap. But the truth is, faith isn't passive, it's active. Faith is believing in something so strongly that it forces you to take a step toward it, even when you can't see the whole staircase. You got to believe big, pray big, and then back it up with movement. That's the secret to breakthrough. If you're only believing and praying, you're missing half the formula. Faith lights the fire, but action is what keeps it burning. Faith plants the seed, but action is what waters it. You can't have one without the other and expect results. Think about a farmer. He can pray all he wants for a harvest, but if he never plants a seed, nothing is growing. Faith gets the dream in your spirit, but action makes it real in your life. Now, here's where most people get stuck. They believe, but they don't move. Why? Because movement requires risk. Movement means stepping out before you feel ready. Movement means working when you don't see results yet. And that's uncomfortable. It's easier to sit in prayer mode, talking about what you're believing for, than to actually take that leap of faith. But let me tell you something, you'll never walk into a breakthrough while sitting still. The blessing comes when you show God that you're serious, that you trust Him enough to move, even when it doesn't make sense yet. Every great story you admire is built on this truth. The people who broke through weren't the ones who just sat back and waited. They believed, yes, but then they got up early, stayed late, studied, worked, built, failed, and tried again. They put their faith to work. Faith gave them vision, but action turned that vision into reality. That's why you see dreamers who stay stuck forever, while doors rise up and succeed. Both had faith, but only one added action. Faith is the fuel, and action is the engine. If you got fuel but no engine, you ain't going anywhere. And if you got an engine but no fuel, you're still stuck. You need both working together. When you start believing big, praying big, and moving your feet, doors will open that you didn't even know were there. Opportunities will show up because you positioned yourself to meet them. That's breakthrough. And don't think for a second that action has to be huge at the start. Sometimes action looks small. Sometimes it's making that phone call, sending that email, writing that idea down, reading that book, signing up for that class, or getting up an hour earlier to work on your gift. It's not about doing everything all at once. It's about doing something. Movement creates momentum. And once momentum shows up, that's when breakthrough start rolling in faster than you expected. But here's the catch. You can't just act once and stop. Breakthrough isn't a one-time event. It's a process. You've got to keep moving, keep believing, keep praying, keep acting. Even when you don't see results yet, you stay consistent. That's where most people give up. They try once, don't see change, and go right back to wishing and waiting. But the ones who keep their faith steady and keep their feet moving, those are the ones who break through barriers. Let me remind you of this. God honors effort. He doesn't need you to be perfect. He just needs you to show up. You move, and He meets you in the movement. You put in the work, and He adds favor to it. But if you sit still, waiting on Him to do everything, you're going to miss out on what He had lined up for you. Breakthrough requires partnership, you and God working together. Your job is to believe, pray, and move. His job is to bless, multiply, and open doors. But He can't bless what you never built, and He can't multiply what you never planted. So today, stop waiting for the right moment. Stop telling yourself you'll move when you feel ready. You'll never feel fully ready. Faith means moving even when you're scared. Faith means stepping forward even when you don't see how it's all going to work out. And when you do that, something shifts in your life. That's when the breakthrough comes. Not when you sit, but when you step. So remember the formula: faith, action, step, breakthrough. Dream it, pray it, and then do it. Believe with your heart, but move with your feet. Don't just talk about the life you want. Start walking toward it. Because your breakthrough is waiting, but it's not coming to find you. You've got to go out there and meet it. Do you want me to also expand the third keynote? Dreams require struggle before success, in the same 700-word style. So it completes the whole motivational set. Everybody loves the idea of success, but nobody wants the struggle that comes before it. We all want the blessing, but we don't want the burden that builds us into the person capable of handling that blessing. The truth is, every dream worth chasing will test you before it rewards you. Life will put you through storms not to break you, but to shape you. The sunshine always feels brighter after the rain, but you can't get to that sunshine without surviving the storm. See, too many people give up when the struggle comes. They start a business, face setbacks, and then quit. They chase a dream, meet resistance, and then decide it's not meant to be. But here's the reality. If it came easy, it wouldn't be called a dream. Struggle is the proof that you're on the right path. Struggle is the training ground that prepares you to carry the weight of success. Because make no mistake, success isn't just about reaching the top. It's about staying there. And if you haven't gone through the fight, you won't have the strength to handle the victory. Think about this. Every seed has to break before it grows. It's buried in the dirt. It faces pressure. It gets rained on. And it has to push through the soil just to see the light. That's struggle. But that struggle is what makes it strong enough to stand. The same is true for you. Your dream is a seed. And the pressure, the pain, the late nights, the rejection, the failures, that's all part of the process. Without that, you never develop the roots needed to hold up the blessing when it finally comes. And don't get it twisted. Struggle doesn't mean you're failing. Struggle means you're growing. Struggle means you're being stretched into the version of yourself that can handle the success you've been praying for. If you quit in the struggle, you forfeit the success. Too many people want sunshine without rain, but that's not how life works. You appreciate the light more when you've been through the dark. Let me tell you something: success isn't free. It has a price tag, and that price tag is struggle. You will sacrifice sleep, comfort, friends who don't understand, opportunities that don't fit your vision. You will be misunderstood, doubted, criticized, and sometimes laughed at. But all of that is part of the payment you make for the life you're building. If you aren't willing to pay that price, then the dream stays just that, a dream. But if you endure it, if you refuse to give up when the weight gets heavy, then one day you'll look back and realize the struggle was the best teacher you ever had. The storm is not your enemy, it's your trainer. It's building resilience, discipline, and wisdom. It's teaching you patience. It's teaching you gratitude. Because when you finally reach your breakthrough, you won't take it for granted. You remember the nights you cried, the times you almost quit, the moments you felt like you were losing it all. And you'll realize those were the very moments that prepared you to stand strong in the sunshine. Here's the real secret: struggle gives your success meaning. If it came easy, you wouldn't respect it. You wouldn't cherish it. But when you fight for it, when you sacrifice for it, when you keep moving even when your body is tired and your mind is screaming to stop, that's when the victory becomes sweet. That's when you walk into your dream not just with joy, but with pride, knowing you earned it. So don't curse the struggle, embrace it. Don't run from the storm. Walk through it, because the storm always passes. The rain always ends, and the sunshine is always waiting on the other side. But the only way to reach it is to keep moving forward when everything in you wants to stop. You've got to remind yourself daily, this burden is temporary, but the blessing will be permanent. This pain is seasonal, but the promise is eternal. Your dream is still alive, but it's calling you to fight for it. And if you're willing to struggle, if you're willing to endure, if you're willing to stay the course, no matter how rough it gets, then you will see the success you've been chasing. So yes, dreams require struggle before success. Every blessing comes with a burden first. Don't despise the burden, because it's proof that the blessing is on the way. Go through the storm with your head high, knowing that every drop of rain is watering your seed. And when the sunshine finally breaks through, you'll step into it stronger, wiser, and ready to carry the life you once only dreamed about. Would you like me to combine all three expanded steps into one continuous motivational speech, like a full keynote Steve Harvey style talk, so it flows as one of the best motivational speeches ever?